empowering busy women, strategies for strength, weight loss, and hormonal balance. This is a very broad topic that needs much more than a 30-minute walk and talk. But that being said, this is definitely a category that I feel many of my clients fall into, but also much of the confusion that's out there. And much of the targeted marketing is targeted at. And you may not like that, but it's the truth. The biggest demographic for selling supplements, weight loss plans, diet books are women in their perimenopausal stage, because you've got a lot of stuff going on and it's frustrating, and people are more likely to buy on emotion when they're frustrated. So it's a great target market from a marketing standpoint. But I'm here to help cut through all that garbage. What's real? What's not? What do I do? All these conflicting messages out there. So buckle up. Now, when we talk about busy women, it's a broad category, right? You might be busy with your career. You might be busy with your family. You might be busy with both. You're just busy. You're go, go, go. You're trying to balance it all. But what about you? What about what you want to do? What about caring for yourself? Whether or not you're a mom, I feel like most women tend to have that mama bear instinct and be a little bit more compassionate overall and want to help others than guys. So the struggles that I often hear about coming from anyone, but again, this talk directly towards women: hectic schedules, family responsibilities, and then finding time for that self-care can be tough. And it is a very normal thing, but it all comes back to scheduling, right? So we want to make sure that first and foremost, we address those time constraints, but then also create prioritization around making the best version of yourself. Okay, so many people struggle to find time to work out, especially if you're balancing a lot of those aforementioned things. But the first thing is realizing that your workout doesn't need to be what you think it needs to be. It doesn't need to be 1 hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours. It doesn't need to be that way. So oftentimes the first limitation that we put on ourselves is this false perception of what your workout needs to be. And it's creating that barrier because of things that we see online, because of people we know. Well, so-and-so looks like that, but I know so-and-so spends 2 hours a day at the gym and I just don't have time for that. So therefore I won't do anything, right? There's a lot of space between doing nothing and spending 2 hours a day at the gym. But so many of us, men and women, have this black or white, all or nothing mentality. And so a lot of times when I don't have time. You do have time. You have time to do something. I guarantee it. Now, we don't all have the same amount of time. We don't all have the same schedules, but I guarantee you've got time to do something. The other struggles, especially for women as they age, become hormonal fluctuations pre, during, post menopausal and how that affects your energy and your metabolism. And it's no shock, no surprise to those of you so far who are watching live. There's some serious changes that go on. And a lot of times you may have not struggled with certain things prior to reaching this stage in life, and all of a sudden they become new problems. And it's frustrating. The biggest thing is, again, to recognize we often create the excuses or the barriers in our brain. So, like I said at the beginning, there is a lot of marketing potential and a lot of messages out there towards women around menopause because it's an emotional point of life. You're going through changes, you're frustrated. And when people are emotional, frustrated, they're more likely to spend money. So some people will project upon to you that you need some kind of magical diet. You need some kind of magical workout. You need some kind of magical supplements. And, a lot of times, yeah, sure, yeah, I'll do whatever. Yeah, that's me. That resonates with me. Well, I'm here to tell you, you probably don't. The same rules that apply to anyone else applies to women in menopause. Now, are there certain things that we want to be a little bit more aware of as far as nutrient intakes, stress management? Of course. But the rules, the underlying scientific principles and rules still apply. And so that, again, the first takeaway that I want you to have so far is we oftentimes create these barriers in our head that don't actually exist. And it's easier to say, well, that makes sense because I'm unique in this way. You're probably not. But oftentimes must be hormones. Oh, it must be, this. No, the same rules still apply. Now, diving into now what? First and foremost, nutrition. Because I would say nine out of 10, probably more than 9 out of 10. Most people do okay with getting in the exercise. But the overall diet is usually where most people are going to struggle. But again, whether you are a busy woman right around menopause or a 35-year-old guy walking on a treadmill, guess what? Nutrient-dense foods, high-quality, whole food-based nutrition is going to be the best route for you most of the time. That's just a fact. So it doesn't matter. I think we've gotten so far into trying to create all these exceptions and all these little special caveats, but it's like if somebody's not getting 80% of their 90% of their nutrition from whole foods, that's where you got to start. I guarantee you, no matter who you are, your hormones will feel better if you start eating more whole foods, drinking less alcohol, eating less processed junk. You will magically stop storing fat. Oh, I've got these flabby triceps or these, under bra fat that I hear from women. Just clean up your diet. It's not going to change overnight, but I guarantee you all of a sudden, it must be inflammation is down. Oh, my hormones are responding better. You're just eating better. You're just finally nourishing your body. Lean proteins, fresh produce, fruits and vegetables. Watch your sugars, your added sugars. Alcohol provides zero health benefits. Again, this is not, I'm not here to give you the special talk for perimenopausal women. because you're not unique. And if that hurts your feelings, hang with me, because that's, again, the biggest problem. You people create a marketing strategy because there's something specific to sell. And they tell you, perimenopausal women, you are unique. You need this special thing. You need this special workout. You need this special diet, because they want to make your money. They want to take your money. And I'm here to tell you, it's all BS. Yes, there are individual differences. Yes, there are special circumstances, but overall, the same principles apply. Now let's get into the workouts. Strength training becomes even more important. This is one. Obviously, I'm very pro strength training, but especially as women go through menopause, true strength training. What other things do we see happen to women when they go through menopause? Bone loss or loss in bone density, increased abdominal fat storage, hair loss, obviously menstrual changes, Guess what the best counterbalance for all of those things is, as far as exercise goes? Strength training, not circuits, not nonstop high intensity sweat sessions. If you're addicted to that feeling, it's going to backfire eventually. It's going to backfire eventually. Now, if you really like those HIIT sessions, the high intensity, let's do 20 seconds of this, 20 seconds of that, 20 seconds of this. Stop. Are you recovering enough from that? If you're eating appropriately, sleeping appropriately, balancing that, I'm fine with it. Seriously, I'm fine with it. It's just that is too many people's, especially women's, go-to. That's the first choice. That should be the third choice. Strength training, steady state cardio, then the high intensity stuff. Because again, go back to the title, busy women, whether it's your career, your family, both, cortisol's probably already running high. And this is for most people, again, like we can apply it to this demographic here, but overall, most Americans, overstressed, overworked, under-recovered. Doesn't matter if you're a menopausal woman or a 35-year-old guy walking on a treadmill. Overstressed, under-recovered. You're getting enough sleep, you're eating enough nourishment, and then you're going and doing these high-intensity classes that at first, the weight starts coming off. And you're like, this is what I needed. But then it slows down, and then your body starts pushing back. So what do? You got to exercise more, you got to eat less. Then what happens? Yeah, you start losing some muscle mass. Again, because the scale's going down doesn't mean you're losing the right stuff. Okay? So, strength training prioritization, number 1, overall movement, aerobic, number 2, and then sure, appropriately progressed and planned HIIT style training is fine. But be careful. So for strength training, let's not overcomplicate it. Big compound movements as appropriate. Squats, lunges, deadlifts, push-ups, rows, compound movement, any variation of those that's pain-free, joint-friendly for you. You have to do barbell back squats. No. A squatting pattern. Do you have to do barbell Romanian deadlifts? No. You can do cable. You could do belt squat. You could do kettlebells. You could do some form of hinging to strengthen your glutes and hamstrings. This is not a talk on a million different exercises. Then, on the flip side of all that working out, you got to prioritize recovery. That's when your body grows in a good way. Muscle, bone, they repair, they grow. Going back to some of those hormonal changes for women in menopause, bone mineral density goes down. All of a sudden, stored abdominal fat. Why is that? Because as estrogen goes down, it is true, you lose some of that insulin and blood sugar management that estrogen provides. And when people tend to store central adiposity, it's like we call it beer bellies, right? Stress related. Now, if it's visceral, where it's around your organs, that's extra bad. Okay. That's where you see mostly like the guys, they got these big pot bellies, but it's like hard. It's not like the big flappy bellies. It's like a big, hard pot belly because all that fat is around their organs and it's pushing out. If you've got more subcutaneous fat, which is on the outside, yes, it may not be what you want. It may not be aesthetically where you want to be, but it's not as dangerous as that visceral fat. So to manage blood glucose, to manage blood sugar, to help your pancreas and your insulin do what they should do in the amounts that they should do, strength training, again, is the number one priority because strength training has the same effect as insulin. It helps drive blood sugar or sugar out of your blood, but store it where we want to store it, not convert it to what we don't want to convert it to. But all this happens during recovery. So just because you're huffing and puffing, sweating and jumping, doing these high intensity intervals, that's great if you're recovering from them. If you continue to do those and not recover from them nutritionally, hormonally, sleep, refilling your tank, you're only slowly driving up that cortisol, slowly driving up that stress hormone. Okay? Now, getting more into hormonal balance. And this is where there's a little bit of the difference. But again, the same underlying rules apply to everyone. To lose fat, thou must be in a calorie deficit. To make sure that you maintain muscle while trying to lose fat, thou must eat enough protein and be doing resistance training. Those principles apply to anyone who wants to lose weight, fat. Again, let's reframe that. We don't want to lose weight. We want to lose fat if we have fat to lose. Okay? That being said, as your hormones change, little intricacies do change in your body. But the same overarching rules apply. So if that's confusing to you, let me know. But again, the rules apply. The game is just a little different. So again, I already kind of touched on as estrogen comes down, you lose some of that protective ability to manage sugars and carbohydrates, essentially. Does it mean you need to go keto or no carb? No, but you probably don't need as many carbs as you think. But the bigger thing, as I talked in a different talk recently, the snacking, the constant keeping your blood sugar elevated is constantly going to challenge your pancreas. It's going to challenge, where do we store this? That's why, again, for anyone looking to lose fat, but especially women around the menopausal stage, try to eat just 3 square meals a day, or even 4. If you're like, Mike, I can't eat these big 3 meals. The bigger point is avoid snacking in between, because 1, most people snack on crap, and 2, we want blood sugar, glucose metabolism to go up when we eat and to come down gracefully until our next meal. If we're constantly keeping it humming from snacks, right, you're not taking full optimization or making You're not making the optimal scenario for your body to put nutrients where we should be putting nutrients. So I see this a lot where, whether it's a picture of someone's breakfast or in their MyFitnessPal, women especially. Okay, well, you told me to eat more protein at breakfast. So you have like a whole egg and a piece of toast. Like, that's all I can eat. Such a big breakfast. No, it's not. An egg and a piece of toast. You got to eat like 3 or 4 times as much, especially on the protein level, sister. I can't do it. There's so much food. No, you can do that, but then you need to stop eating in between meals. Breakfast is an egg and a piece of toast. Lunch is a little side salad with 1 ounce of chicken crumbles on it. And then from 3 p.m. until bedtime is a smorgasbord of eating whatever junk is around you. So no more, eat less, but more frequently. Kind of. No. Yes, you need to be in a calorie deficit, but overall calorie deficit. So yeah, if you're not losing fat, you do need to probably move more, or you do need to eat less for your current situation. Now, if you stay in your macros, elaborate on that for me, Amy. Clarify. I'm going to keep rolling here. Nutrition strategies for hormonal health. Again, it comes back to quality. If you're eating quality, you're going to be checking most of your boxes, but certain nutrients that are beneficial for everyone. But as women go through menopause, omega-3 fatty acids, getting enough vitamins, minerals to support your hormonal levels. So fatty fish or a supplement. And then eating a diverse nutrient spread of protein sources and fresh produce. Eat the rainbow, eat your plants. You're going to be pretty good. Then the other big side of hormones, stress management. Are you always redlining it? Are you always go, go, go? Again, going back to those HIIT style, crazy ass circuit training sweat sessions. What are you doing to recover? You're constantly burning your tank out. You finish those workouts, you shower really fast, you do your hair as best you can, and then it's on to the next thing. And it's on to the next thing. And then maybe you'll get coffee in the afternoon because you're feeling tired. Guess what? You are just redlining the hell out of your body. When was the last time you took 5 minutes to yourself? Mindfulness, yoga, deep breathing, slow recovery-based cardio, walking, steps, movement, that sort of thing. And then the big one that nobody likes, sleep. Prioritizing quality sleep and relaxation to support overall hormonal balance and well-being. Again, you are not a special flower. This applies to everyone. No matter what your goals are, no matter who you are, man, woman, child, to support a healthy body, we need sleep. You can go a longer time without water than you can without sleep. They've done it in some pretty crazy experiments that they can't do anymore because they're essentially tortured. Your body will eventually tell you enough is enough and you need sleep. That's when our bodies recover. That's when our hormones rebalance. That's when we rebuild tissue, the good kind of tissue. And it is the biggest, longest duration of fat loss is when we sleep. Because you're not eating when you sleep. You're essentially going into a fast, but your body has to keep humming. Your heart has to keep beating. Your brain has to keep recharging. Your organs got to keep pumping. So where are they going to get those calories from? Your stored body fat. So it's a great opportunity to burn fat, to burn the most amount of fat when you sleep, more than your hour-long HIIT sessions, more than your 30-minute speed intensity training. You get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, that's a long fat loss phase. Okay? In conclusion, the struggles, they're all real. You're struggling with them. She's struggling with them. But again, first and foremost, we create these barriers in our heads as to why I can't do that or why everyone else is doing it, so I got to do it. We often create these barriers. You don't need the 2-hour-long sessions. You don't have to live at the gym. You don't have to eat the most boring, plain foods. We create the barriers before we even get there. Why not get there and step over the barrier before we build it up? You, like anyone else, has the power to make those positive changes in your life, no matter how busy you may be. We all have 24 hours in a day. Yes. Our 24 hours are all very different. Yes. But if we avoid those preconceived barriers, if we avoid creating those, well, can't do that, so I can't do it at all, and you do something, check the box, I guarantee you will make progress. Finally, what do you do with all this? You got to take action. So take this talk, take what you learn, do a true audit of your lifestyle. What does your exercise look like? What does your diet look like? What does your recovery look like? And what does the trajectory of your life look like from a health standpoint? Because at the end of the day, it's not about having ripped abs, defined, chiseled arms. It comes down to, are you able to live the life that you want to live? Are you able to do all the things that you want to do now? And will you be able to do them 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? If you can do that, you're already on the right path. Then focus on some aesthetic goals, of course. But if you're not on that path, I guarantee you, as soon as you get on that path, get off the current train track that you're on, get on the new one, not only are you going to feel better, but you're going to start to look better as a positive side effect. So take action, go do something. Don't think you always have to do more, but do something.